In this video, I'm going to be sewing, 4 pillow covers in the size 50 by 50 centimeters for profit. Of course, they've been sewed, and I am going to go ahead and sew these pillow covers. And the beautiful thing is that we're going to be gisting along while I do this. This is the first one, the second one, and the third one, and that's the fourth one right here. We'll be gisting along while I do this. I've gotten here a Yuki industrial sewing machine, but of course, you can also use whatever you have. But the only thing I normally advise is that students, if you are trying to learn to sew pillow covers for profit, always try to use the zipper presser foot if you have to sew pillow covers, with zippers. But in this particular video, I'm going to be telling you guys something that I naturally do not advise. As a matter of fact, if you have watched my previous videos, I always tend to tell you guys, if you are, trying to make pillow covers, always try to use the matching zippers for the matching fabric. Right here, I have terracotta. For one funny reason or the other, I didn't really realize that I didn't have the matching zip, and I bought something online. It was delivered kind of a mess because I have to send it back, but it is what it is. Right here, I have a zipper that is pretty much like orange, but at this point, I just have to get this thing going because this order has been placed since like 4 days ago, Busy me sometimes doing some other stuff, and only for me to realize that yes, this is the time to ship out this thing. I do not want to one more, like delay the shipping one more time, but if you take a look at it, it shouldn't really be a problem. But I wouldn't know what kind of buyer this is, but I'm just going to take the risk. Of course, in this business, you have to, take risk. Naturally, I don't know if I still have the terracotta zipper. It's somewhere there. I have it, but for one reason or the other, it got finished from some previous orders, and went online to buy something that I thought was the same color, only for me to be delivered with something else. And like I said, I do not want to keep delaying this order before shipping it out. I have the option of buying something else, and then it's going to take additional 2 days to be delivered to me, and I don't know how long the buyer can wait. So we're just going to go ahead once again, take the risk and see if the buyer would accept it. From my experience doing this business, sometimes those particular transactions that you say to yourself, this is going to be a risky transaction. Perhaps this transaction is not going to fly because of some reason. Sometimes you bring out a fabric like this, only for you to realize that you have sewn these pillow covers. At the point of you folding it and making sure that everything goes, you realize that the fabric has a little bit of a stain, and sometimes it's just too late. You go ahead, you ship it out like that, and most times, from my experience, I tend to receive sometimes, positive reviews. The things that kind of makes me worried, the buyers, they don't even see it. And that has happened not once, not twice, like over and over and over again. So when this happened, like I saw that the zippers were not the same color, I just said to myself, man, you have to do what you have to do. I have to get this thing going, and it's going to be like that. Of course, I'm also going to report back to you if this zipper was a problem. But ideally, what you always have to do is to ensure that you have matching zippers for whatever project you are working on. A long time ago, I also needed to fight with having the matching thread. But once I discovered that it's actually possible for me, to use this invisible thread, that was a game changer for me. So ever since I started using this invisible thread, I just didn't have to worry no more about the matching thread. Because like I said, if you want to do this business and succeed in it, your ability to discover a lot of hacks, hacks in fixing your zips, the hack in even cutting the fabric is going to play a very major role. Because like I said, you cannot afford to be wasting time on just one particular pillow covers. Mind you, the orders are coming in, and if you are wasting so much time just sewing one particular pillow cover, you'll be able to cope, except you have some specialized machine, or you kind of get help. Maybe you have someone to sew for you and stuff like that. But because I'm still doing this thing myself, perhaps it's going to come a time I'm going to be able to recruit an additional hands to help me sew this stuff. But if I'm just sewing myself, my ability to actually discover a lot of hacks is going to be a major game changer. See this thread right here, this invisible thread. I did buy it online, and while I was trying to open it up, I don't know if you can see that, it broke. This was how it broke. And ever since, as I'm using it, the thread right there tends to be, hanging on that broken spot and kind of messes up my work. So don't wonder when you see me kind of touching it once in a while, just to make sure that it's not hanging there. Otherwise, if it hangs and I do not remove it, it's going to cut and I have to start to retread the machine again, because this is a Yuki machine. I've always said that this is one very stable machine. Of course, you can see it doesn't really cut my thread. It performs very well, even though I'm still yet to take care of the machine exactly the way it should be taken care of. This weekend, perhaps, I'm going to be able to sit here, make sure I clean the machine. Otherwise, because I kind of imagine that the noise now is a little bit heavy. I've had this machine for well over 3 or 4 years, but I've been actively using it since I think last year or 2 years ago when I started, this business. I've always been sewing for a very long time, but this particular sewing business, this pillow cover business actually started, if I remember correctly, like 2 years ago. Of course, the research started much longer, but I finally was able to figure out the very best way to do this business so that you do not wear yourself out, you do not waste a lot of money, because when you have 25 colors, that's a lot of combinations there with different sizes. 25 colors of cotton fabric, different sizes. We have got 40 by 40 centimeters. We have 50 by 50 centimeters. We also have 45 by 45 centimeters. When you have these different combinations, then it becomes a little bit of challenge. How do you budget, fabric for each particular project? What kind of method do you develop as to ensure that you do not just keep buying fabric, not knowing what colors will sell? That was one of the biggest challenges that I had. 25 colors, you never can tell which colors is going to sell. Some tend to sell very fast, while others tended to sell, over a long time. But I figured out a way to do it so that I do not waste money. And, this was what I did for the longest time. But when the business suddenly took off, I listed the offer on eBay, listed it on my shop, things pretty much took off. So I was getting to use this machine a lot. Sometimes we're receiving orders like 25 pillow covers a day, 50 pillow covers a day, and it just kept going on and on. And at some point, life comes in between. Sometimes you get so busy that you have to switch off, the shop, which was what I did for some time, because there were some personal issues, family-related issues I needed to deal with, other business engagements and stuff like that. So at some point, I also switched off the business because the orders were really coming in. But right now, since I've got time again, I'm back. This is pretty much the reason why you see that I'm kind of making videos again. For a very long time, wasn't making video on the channel, but right now I'm back. And eBay has been doing what they have to do. They've been sending traffic my way, because I have very good pillow covers. My offer pictures are also very, representative of the kind of pillow covers I'm sending out to buyers. I have been selling them. We sold lilac. This is what we call lilac, purple, something like this. And this is terracotta, 4 pieces. Somebody also bought, wine red, and yeah, the orders have been coming in. The wine red, I think I also made a video of me sewing it, and I made a very beautiful video about why you shouldn't give up on your dream. If you haven't seen that video, Please make sure to go to my channel, search for it. It was the last video I posted on the channel. Possibly you see it, and it was a very, very informative video of why you shouldn't give up on your dream, because over and over and again, you keep seeing people giving up on their sowing dreams, and you'll be wondering why. What a shame. This is something that you learned. Sometimes it took you 3 or 4 years to really get good at sowing, and because of one little challenge in life, boom, you give up on your dream, which shouldn't be. Exactly why that video was made, to kind of encourage somebody. Hopefully you find that video, very, very interesting. All right. So I was talking about the fact that, all right, see, that's the sound again from the thread, hanging up. But hopefully it doesn't get caught. And yes, that was a close one. Sometimes it gets caught and I have to start to thread the machine again. So what I have to do is that, once again, it's happening. This is really a pain. The next video I'll be making, definitely I have to change this this spool. Perhaps I have to, wind, kind of reel this thread on a bobbin, and this is supposed to solve that problem. I don't know why it came like that. I never ever had problems with this invisible thread, but there was one particular one I was buying all the time, and I did go back to my source to buy it, only for me to realize that that particular product was no longer available. And I tried this one now, and me just trying it first time, the spool, this plastic thing right here, got broken, and ever since, kind of give me a lot of stress. But this is just a little thing that we can easily overcome. That's the second one, and I still have 2 more to go. Guys, I want to talk about you supporting this channel. See, recently I've been thinking that, okay, I make my own content, showing you guys how to sew pillow covers for profit, and then sometimes I kind of do some tips and tricks, trying to fix jeans, how you get around fixing so many different kind of little sewing problems. But the main thing I do is to show you how you can actually make money, the business side of tailoring. This is the area I'm actually specialized in. And the particular business model that I am proposing is sewing pillow covers for profit. This is what I have done myself. I'm not going to dabble into a business area that I have absolutely no idea. Long time ago, we used to have a tailoring institute where my mom, would receive clothes from clients. Back then I was still in Nigeria, and she would sew them. Then, they come on a set day to pick it up, try it. If there are any corrections, go ahead and fix them. That model, given that I now live in Europe, although it's still doable, but because people are so busy and things tend to happen so fast, I kind of realized that the best business model that I can actually do from the comfort of my home would be for me to just offer sewing something that everybody pretty much knows what it is. Like pillow covers, the sizes are pretty much standard. So when you say like you have 50 by 50 centimeters, somebody doesn't need to come to your shop to know what 50 centimeter by 50 centimeter is, even though we still receive situations where people buy, pillow covers and then they realize that it's too big, because they possibly made a mistake in their filling. That's the thing that comes inside the pillow cover, right? And then they want to return it, right? But the majority, or most of the time, we do not have people, making this mistake. Not so bad, even though it's an orange zipper right there, but I don't think it's much of a problem, all right? So I felt like this was the best business model I could actually do from the comfort of my home. I do not have to have serious, strict deadlines. It's such that when people go to my website or to eBay to order this stuff, I just come here, make them, sew the pillow covers pretty much on camera, talking to you guys, my highly esteemed viewers, and we kind of get to gist most times. And later on, I get to read your comments, and this is what it is. So this is what I felt like I will be able to do at this time, considering that time is of the essence. I don't have a lot of time to do this, and this is exactly why I'm also proposing this business model to you. This business model is going to ensure that you do not give up on your sewing dreams. You still have the opportunity to practice your stitches. And you can actually do this from wherever. You could have a straight sewing machine in your living room, in your kitchen. And you could have the fabrics, stored up somewhere in your bedroom or wherever, in your living room as well. And yeah, you can just leave everything there, leave the offer to run. And when eBay brings customers or buyers your way, all you have to do is to now go ahead, create whatever the buyer has ordered, and then you ship it out easy and clean. You don't need to make any appointments. Somebody doesn't need to come to your house. Nobody needs to disturb your sleep schedule or stuff like that. And if you even have a normal, regular job, it's something that you can do when you come back from work. This is the most I've been able to come up with. Perhaps this model is going to change in the future, but for now, I kind of find this model very, very interesting. And I felt like there might be a lot of people out there that are also looking for something to start. Come to think of it, honestly, it's good to be honest, I'm not going to come here and just try to, tell you guys, gaslight you that tailoring is easy. It might be a little bit complicated to have, a tailoring business, especially when you do not have, somebody to help you. Now the thread is finished. I have to, feed in a new thread, and unfortunately I have to reel a new one, all right? Okay, so that comes here. I don't know if the camera is going to catch that, but pretty much everyone knows how to thread a Yuki machine. But if you are not so sure what to do, especially if you have a Yuki DDL 8700, if you are not so sure how to thread it, please let me know in the comment section. I will be glad, more than glad to make. I'll be more than glad to make a video about how you thread your, your Yuki DDL 8700 sewing machine. All right. Something doesn't seem to be working right. This is the problem. All right, because of the way this thread is, I have to support it with my hand somehow, and one way or the other, it doesn't really work very well with the reeling. I don't know what you call that, but I call it reeling process. But let's see. Hopefully it works. Oh no, it doesn't work. So I'm just gonna, hold this out and see if it helps. Let's do so. This is a trick, guys. Sometimes you just have to be innovative, because if I will allow it roll on that point, it's going to be cutting and everything is just going to be messed up. And this is what I have come up with. Necessity, they say, is always the mother of invention. Of course, you cannot do the business like this, right? Otherwise, you'll be wasting a lot of time. But this is just for me to quickly get past this stage, and later on, I'm definitely going to fix that. All right. Okay, so that's my thread. Nice and easy. I'm going to go ahead and thread my machine again. All right, we got that sorted out. Like I said, if you are not so sure, you have a Yuki DDL 8700, and you are not so sure how you can actually go ahead to thread it, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy, to make you guys a tutorial video showing you exactly how you do that. But the Yuki machine is one very easy machine to work with. You do not need any complicated threadings. Everything is pretty much just a one-way process. So, but it doesn't stop me from actually making tutorial video showing you guys, how to do that. So I was talking about me and this channel. Of course, I really do want to make videos for you guys, show you guys what you can actually do with the skills that you have taken so long to acquire, So because of that, these videos get to be seen. We keep having situations where I make videos and for one reason or the other, the videos do not get a lot of traction. You guys do not interact with the videos. And because of that, YouTube just feels like it's not a video that needs to be shared or to be pushed. So because of that, the video just gets very little views. I want to encourage you, please, these are important videos. It takes a lot of effort to create these videos, and it takes a lot of effort to also come here and say, guys, I want to show you what you can do in your spare time. I want to show you what you can actually do with very little money. It takes a lot of effort to do that. I want to show you, help you how to, build something that you can call your own, a business that can be operated even when you are on pension. You no longer go to work. Now you are home. It's a business that will not stress you, a business that will not take you forever to learn. If you want to learn how to sew pillow covers now and you are a very hardworking person, I want to imagine that in a day or two, with the right tools and the right technique, you should be able to, get a very good grasp of how to sew, pillow covers. Even if you are a total beginner, the only thing that you have to have is the motivation to learn and the willingness to want to try out new stuff. All right. So it's not something that will take. There are some skills that takes forever to learn. You will be learning it, 1 year, 2 years. Even then, you are still not good at it. This is something that you can just, start learning today, and by tomorrow you can already see results if it's something for you or not. And I'm saying here that, look, I'm here to show you exactly how it's done in such a way that when you have to recreate this business, which is to set up an offer, you will not have to, go through the learning curve, which could be very, very painful. Guys, I lost a lot of money. One day, I'm going to make a video about my fabric stack, the stack of fabric that I have. And I'm going to tell you every fabric there has a bit of history. When I bought it, why I bought it, every thinking behind it, the experiment I was running at the time I bought it. It's supposed to be a very, very interesting video. I have a lot of fabric, different colors, different materials, even while trying to figure out the best cotton fabric for this. Man, I also lost a lot, of money trying to figure out the best cotton fabric, the best weight, because at the end of the day, not all cotton fabric, the weight will be suitable for you, to sew pillow covers. Not all. I used to think that it doesn't matter the kind, as long as the fabric is just cotton. It has to have a certain kind of weight. And these are the kind of weight that when people receive the materials or the products, they're not going to be thinking that they've been cheated, because there are some fabric, when it looks so light, so transparent, so weightless, people really think that they didn't get very good value for their money. But when they receive your fabric and everything looks so premium, color looks so even, not like some part is faded and some other parts doesn't look, when people receive it, they immediately say, oh, this is a very good, now this thing is beginning to give a lot of troubles. People are able to say, oh, this is a very good cotton fabric. This experiment took me months to sort out. But then if I make these videos and these videos do not get a lot of traction, man, it takes, not like it's painful, because anyhow I still have to do what I have to do, but it would have been better if people, receive these videos, you click on the like button, you subscribe to the channel, you share the video, share with your friends and say, hey, I see that there's a guy talking about, starting a pillow cover making business. And perhaps they are interested as well. And when people get to interact with the videos, the YouTube algorithm kind of shares the video more, and in this way, we're able to reach more people. And even may probably make up, set up a kind of training session where I can, put people in groups. On a particular Saturday or so, we can just come together, do some kind of live session, try to, guide you guys through a pillow cover making project. That would be also very, very interesting. All right, guys, we have done the 4 pillow covers, and this is the, the end of this. I'm going to go ahead now with the sides, make sure I prepare them for shipment. Hopefully, I will still be able to take them to the post office today, and the buyer should be able to, receive these orders by tomorrow. But guys, don't forget, always do the right thing. Ensure you have the matching thread and the matching zippers for your project. It's going to go a long way in showing how, professional you are in terms of making pillow covers. Until I see you again in the next video, peace out.